You know that one person who gets a tiny bit of authority and suddenly acts like they own your life? Yeah. My HOA president fined me $500 over the color of my fence, while secretly stealing tens of thousands of dollars from the neighborhood. And 2 years later, I watched him lose his title, his reputation, and eventually his home. This is the story of the longest, quietest revenge I've ever witnessed. If you've ever dealt with a power-hungry boss, landlord, or neighborhood dictator, you're gonna love this one. Hit like, subscribe for more real revenge stories, and settle in. Because this isn't loud revenge. This is patient revenge. The kind that waits, plans, and hits perfectly.
When I moved into the neighborhood, it felt perfect. Tree-lined streets, kids riding bikes, lawns trimmed like magazine covers. It was supposed to be peaceful suburban life. But every neighborhood has a secret. Ours was named Todd. Todd was the HOA president. And Todd didn't just run the HOA, he ruled it. You'd see him cruising slowly in his golf cart, clipboard in hand, scanning houses like a prison warden checking cells. Trash cans slightly visible? Fine. Grass half an inch too long? Warning notice. Holiday decorations still up 1 day late? Violation fee. He didn't smile when he handed out penalties. He smirked. Like enforcement itself brought him joy. At first, I assumed he was just strict. Then I realized something worse. The rules applied to everyone except Todd.
My problem started with a fence. Nothing dramatic, just a simple repair after storm damage. The approved stain color was out of stock everywhere. Supply shortages. So I chose the closest possible match. Same tone, same style, barely noticeable difference. A week later, I opened my mailbox. Inside was a violation letter. $500 fine. My stomach dropped. I walked over to Todd's house, letter shaking slightly in my hand. I explained calmly, showed receipts, even offered to repaint when supplies returned. Todd leaned back, arms crossed, smiling. "Rules are rules," he said. Then he turned around and walked inside while I was still talking. That moment stayed with me. Not anger, not yet. Something colder. Disrespect. I stood there realizing he didn't care about fairness. He cared about power. And that's when the idea first formed. I wasn't going to fight him. I was going to outlast him. Todd's biggest mistake? He underestimated quiet people. A few months later, I volunteered for the HOA board. I played the role perfectly. Helpful neighbor, community-minded volunteer. Todd loved it. He thought I was harmless. For 2 years, I attended every meeting, and I watched. Todd dominated discussions. If someone disagreed, he buried them in paperwork. Votes happened conveniently when opposition members were absent. Documents mysteriously vanished. Complaints disappeared. Other board members stopped challenging him altogether. They weren't allies. They were exhausted. And Todd counted on that exhaustion. So I stayed patient, taking notes, saving emails, learning procedures, waiting. Because revenge isn't about emotion. It's about timing. The neighborhood HOA fees were unusually high, yet nothing improved. The pool closed repeatedly for maintenance. Landscaping looked abandoned. Broken lights stayed broken for months. Where was the money going? During one meeting, I casually asked to review the budget.
Todd laughed. Actually laughed. "Don't worry," he said. "I've got it handled." That sentence flipped a switch in my brain, because transparency scares only one kind of leader, the guilty kind. So I filed a formal financial records request. Legally, he had to comply. Weeks passed, nothing. No documents, no explanation, just silence. That's when I started knocking on doors. What I discovered shocked me. I wasn't alone. Dozens of homeowners had tried to see financial records before, all ignored. One neighbor whispered that Todd installed a luxury patio shortly after HOA fees increased. Another claimed Todd's kids used the pool during maintenance closures. Stories piled up. Patterns formed. Suspicion turned into certainty. So I pushed harder, filed an official board complaint demanding financial disclosure. Todd stalled again, but this time he couldn't avoid it. Eventually, he handed over the documents. And that's when everything changed. The financial records were chaos. Missing invoices, mislabeled expenses, huge payments with vague descriptions. One entry stood out. $15,000 landscaping fee. I searched the company name. It didn't exist. My heart started racing. Late nights followed. Spreadsheets open. Coffee cups stacking up. I cross-checked bank transfers, contractor records, and public filings. Piece by piece, the truth emerged. Todd wasn't just abusing authority. He was stealing. Money flowed from HOA accounts to inflated contractor invoices, then quietly into accounts linked back to him. A fake vendor, kickbacks, personal profit. Over $50,000 gone. I remember staring at my computer at 2 a.m., realizing this wasn't revenge anymore. This was justice. I documented everything. Every transaction. Every discrepancy. Neighbors signed statements, photos collected, records notarized. The report grew thicker and heavier. I didn't confront Todd. Not yet. Because public exposure works best when the audience is ready. And the annual HOA meeting was coming. Normally only 10 people attended. This time, I made sure the entire neighborhood showed up. I knocked on doors, spoke calmly, dropped hints. Something important needs discussion. Curiosity spread faster than gossip. By meeting night, the room was packed. Todd had no idea what was coming. Todd opened the meeting like always. Long speech, self-praise, complaints about how hard leadership was. I watched neighbors exchange looks, waiting. Then I stood up. The room went quiet. I asked politely, "Could you explain some discrepancies in the budget?" Todd chuckled nervously. "This isn't the time or place." I smiled. "Actually, Todd, it's exactly the time." I began handing out copies of the report, pages flipping, whispers spreading, faces changing from confusion to shock to anger. Someone shouted. Another demanded answers. Todd's confidence collapsed in real time. He tried to regain control, banging the table. But authority only works when people believe in it. And belief was gone. I called for a vote to remove him as president. Hands shot up across the room, almost unanimous. Just like that, the king lost his crown. Removing Todd was only the beginning. We hired an independent auditor. Their findings confirmed everything. Embezzlement, fraud, financial misconduct. Police reports followed, civil lawsuits filed. Todd's contractor partner was exposed and banned from county work. Legal fees mounted. Restitution demanded. Within months, Todd sold his house. The same house where he once issued fines from his driveway. Neighbors didn't cheer. They didn't need to. Justice spoke louder than celebration. With Todd gone, the neighborhood changed. The pool reopened, landscaping returned, HOA fees dropped. We introduced transparency rules, term limits, multiple financial approvals, online access to budgets. No more dictators. Sometimes I walk past Todd's old house. A new family lives there now. Kids laugh in the yard. Lights glow warmly at night. And I think about something important. Revenge doesn't always look like shouting. Sometimes it looks like patience, documentation, and letting someone destroy themselves with their own corruption. I later heard Todd tried joining another HOA board in a nearby town. Someone Googled his name. The room burst into laughter. Application denied. Instant karma. The best part wasn't watching Todd fall. It was watching the neighborhood heal. Because power without accountability always collapses eventually. And sometimes, the quiet person taking notes in the corner is writing the ending. There's a lesson here. You don't always win by fighting louder. Sometimes you win by being smarter, calmer, and more patient than the person abusing power. Justice isn't rushed. It's built. If this story satisfied your sense of justice, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the worst power trip you've ever witnessed? And don't forget to subscribe for more unbelievable revenge stories posted every day. Because trust me, the internet never runs out of karma.